It's unclear how the fight reached the point that his privates became public, but it was bad enough that he
Oh,
required
that's
help
a
from
good
first
word. Privates
responders.
became public.
That was a good one. That was well
Nice.
done. His genitals were stuck to the ice as multiple people, including security at the bar, attempted to pull him off. Hey,
All right. So we're good. Do you want to quickly clean your glasses?
no, man, it's fine. Don't
Now
worry
that you
about it.
said that yours are dirty, I feel like mine are dirty.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
they're always dirty. And the second I turn on the ring light for the,
yeah.
it's just like it's obvious. It's glaringly obvious that they're dirty.
Hold on a sec. What?
Because the temperature sometimes gets so hot in there, if I have to go in and I need to like before I do.
Okay. Yeah.
Tea.
Okay. Okay.
Should I just shut them here?
Shut up now. Ah,
Might get too cold.
okay. Sorry, that's Andrea.
Oh, good.
Oh, recorded all that just dead air. Anyways, so welcome to Outrage Factory, episode 261. Lots to talk about, but oh yeah, I just wanted to say that the lighting's weird because I'm in my kitchen because my toddler fell asleep before I could set up in the bedroom. So I just you know what? Let's go. Makeshift.
You just make sure, just
the
make
kitchen.
do where it is. Yeah,
So,
I have a
yeah.
room I'm sequestered to for podcasting.
Oh, I
So,
wish. But
so that the family can not hear me. Do it. Yeah.
yeah, that's usually me too. But yeah,
Yeah.
so if you see me squirming a lot, it's because I'm in an uncomfortable kitchen chair.
Oh no, we have a lot to cover, so you better get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in the world of
Yeah,
outrage this week.
I also wanted to say we're not going to talk about Trump first thing because I
Okay.
know how people get Trump fatigue, and it's only been what 2 weeks, but
Fuck,
people are already
it's 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Oh,
people are big mad. But we will. Because I was like, hey, let's talk about all this executive orders, and then I started going through them, and there's 35,
35.
or
Yeah,
unless there's more today. That was as of last
ridiculous.
night.
Yeah,
This is Friday night. Is it February 1st or it's
no, it's January. It's still January, Dale.
January 31st? Oh,
January,
also
it's January 319th.
if we were I also we're recording this before Trump announces the tariffs on Canada.
Oh yeah,
But this will be released hopefully tomorrow if I don't get too busy,
nice.
Which will probably be after he releases his tariffs.
Oh boy, this is
but
man, I'm sad. I'm just sad about everything right now. Like you
Really?
mentioned big mad, but I'm just
pumped.
like I'm upset. I'm upset about everything. And I there were 4 years where I had no outrage, and now I'm just right back in it again.
I'm still more outraged at Biden and the shitty DNC than I am at Trump.
I guess I just didn't pay attention because it wasn't loud enough for me to hear it.
It was so terrible.
What are you drinking tonight?
I've got like 4 drinks here because it's right beside the fridge. I was like,
right by the fridge.
I've got some Thirsty Buddha,
nice
sparkling coconut water and grapefruit juice.
I'm rocking the old Western Family Citrus Twist today.
Nice. Yep. Is that like classic Sprite?
Just Sprite. Yeah, no, it's like
7-Up?
Lemon flavored Perrier.
Oh, so it's sparkling
but
water.
Like cheap people. Yeah, it's sparkling water.
Nice. Okay, so before we talk about Trump,
okay,
or Elon Musk,
okay,
or any of that, let's talk about something wholesome, something good.
Oh,
and that's recording yourself farting and sending it to your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend.
I saw this morning. You sent this to me, and before you sent it to me, the story, I saw it. Like I was like just mass clicking through my reels, and I saw it, and I was like, "That's got to be a fucking meme or something."
Oh yeah, it definitely seems fake.
Yeah.
Here, I'll pull up the news story.
So. I love the news story. How the news story says somebody caught wind of this. Yeah. I was losing my mind. I lost my mind. Tell us about the story. This is great.
Hold on. I still gotta open it. Yeah,
this is funny because this is how I met my wife, by the way.
It's funny because like usually I'm like, oh, because I was dry for stories that weren't just Trump and people mad at Trump. So I was going through Reddit, like weird news on Reddit. That's where I get a lot of my news. And this wasn't there, and I totally forgot about it. And then I don't know why something happened at work today, and I was like, that girl who farts, we got to talk about that, because I'd only seen it on Twitter. And like you, I was like, I went from like being this is fake to just mad at the UK because
it's specifically whales too, which is my favorite thing in the whole world.
Yeah. And she got arrested.
Yeah. Like
and
straight up arrested. Yeah.
For sending hilarious videos of her farting.
I like how they call it fart selfies. Like,
yeah,
when they say fart selfies in the article like 6 times, and I'm like, that's a video. If it's a fart, it's not a selfie, because you're just taking a picture of your ass and sending it and saying I farted. That would be a selfie.
Then she like puts her face in the video and smiles.
Yeah.
Which, hey,
is that by the stink, or did she move the phone away from the rear posterior area? I didn't actually see the video.
I just knocked my charger off the counter. Hold on.
Smart.
From what I can gather, she would like had the phone by her buttocks,
and then farted and brought it up.
Farted and then was like,
but she like ninja dusted herself. Like,
oh yeah. I'm sure if she's a girl who sends other girls fart videos, she's not I feel like it's gonna be bothered by her own brand.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. I was gonna say too, like my poor wife. I wasn't gonna say this. I was debating whether or not I said this on the podcast. We've known each other just over 20 years now.
20 years?
Yeah, she has farted in front of me 3 times lifetime.
That's amazing.
Yeah. One of them though, she was going up the stairs in front of me and absolutely cut one in my face. So it was a doozy. I've never done that to her, but it was 3 times lifetime. I know she's had other farts. I've heard other farts like away from situations, but
just like goes in the next room and drops her guts.
Yeah, but like open farts like in front of me 3 times lifetime.
Yeah, the only time Andrew has ever done it was by accident.
Oh yeah, totally. It was like whoops.
I can't talk about it because she's over there.
She's right there. Yeah, she can hear you.
It's very awkward.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
but no, she's never on purpose farted in front of me.
Yeah, I think that's like I said, 20 years, 3 times. That's it.
So what would you do if you like found out that? Well, I guess it's too late now. It's been 20 years. But if you were like, I guess like a year into dating Allie, and you found out she sent your ex-girlfriend videos of her farting,
I wouldn't press charges. It's like I wouldn't fucking like call the cops on her, but I would certainly have to question her methods. I think I would like where I'm doing right now, I'd laugh, but I don't think it think
it would give you the ick.
Nah, I don't know. I was raised in a family where everybody farts openly all the time. Like my mom, my dad, everybody, man, it's gross.
Really?
I got a story for you here. This is a good story.
Tell me about your
second
family.
The second time I ever brought Allie to visit my parents.
Yeah.
We're sitting at the dinner table and my dad absolutely shits himself. And he goes, Allie, did you just fart in my pants? And my wife just like fucking, she was my girlfriend at the time. She's just like sheet white.
Yeah.
Like didn't know how to react or do anything. My mom, my brother, and myself and our friend Adam all laughed.
That's hilarious.
Everyone's laughing and my girlfriend's just like, what the fuck? Like she'd never heard anybody say anything like that before in her whole life.
That's hilarious. Okay, I gotta ditch the hat because it's hot. So I'm gonna have hat hair for this podcast.
That's
so if you're listening to this, just ignore that I said that. But if you're watching it, I'm sorry in advance. Because somehow it makes my forehead bigger. I don't know.
What the hat does?
No, having hat hair.
Oh, having hat hair. It expands your forehead, expands.
Yeah. No, that's hilarious.
Better than my 6 head.
Yeah, yours goes all the way to
the back where the hair starts growing again at the top of my back.
Okay, so I'll just read a bit of this.
Sure. Go. You might as well fill the folks in. They've heard enough about my fart life.
A woman who sent videos of herself passing wind in a series of harassing messages to her boyfriend's ex-partner has been given a community order. Shopworker Rhiannon Evans, 25, of Mountain Street in Caernarfon, Gwynedd. Where is that?
Wales.
No, Wales. You know what's funny? This year, I learned where Wales was.
Oh, yeah, it's part of the UK.
Yeah, I know it is because it was always
it's like to the left of England.
Yeah, it was always like Britain, Wales. So I just thought it was like a state of Wales, and I didn't know it was its own.
It's its own country. Yeah, yeah. Kynry. It's it has a cool ass dragon flag. It's awesome. It's
that's dope.
They all speak weird there. It's like faith.
Yeah. So she pleaded guilty to pursuing a course of conduct amounting to the harassment. Whales are so proper.
They're very proper. Yeah, it's a BBC
Prosecutors. Oh,
story.
sorry.
No, go ahead. It's a BBC story. It's great.
Yeah. Prosecutors told magistrates in the town how in Evan's first inappropriate video, she proceeds to pass gas by placing the camera on her bottom and passing the gas. She sent 3 more fat selfies to Deborah Prythurch via WhatsApp on 22 December, the court heard, and 4 more in the following days, showing Miss Evans passing wind, her face smiling at the camera, magistrates heard. Evans was warned after police caught wind of the issue.
Yes.
But she sent further messages on Boxing Day and New Year's Day. Evans was arrested at her home, admitted to sending the videos, and was given a 12-month community order and fines.
Yeah, that's wild. So
that's like
there was it became a legal problem where she has to do community service in Wales now for farting into a phone and sending it to people.
If the police
clearly the cops have never seen our group chat.
Yeah. If the police told me to stop recording myself farting, I would immediately stop recording myself farting.
Yeah.
Like I gotta know what her boyfriend thinks of this whole thing.
I just find the whole thing wild that they brought the cops into this and it became a whole thing where she literally has to serve a sentence. Yeah. Like it's community service, but she still like it goes in her record of like she caused mischief with her butt. Like it's just like it's a weird story.
Seeking damages.
So yeah, I find that whole story that is that's a nice airy story to start with.
It's a nice one to break wind in.
Yes, it is.
That was forced.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
I forgive you. Yeah, that's a great story to start with. But yeah, I can't imagine, man. I just want I kind of want to meet her. I want to know what kind of person she is. I want to be on her group chat.
If she's just like
Miss Evans, if you're out there, ping me. Put me on the group chat. I'm just curious. I want to know you.
Dude, if she's sending like 4 fart videos a day, her whole apartment must just stink.
I like read somewhere one time that like the average human being farts about 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like as an average. I'm like, I don't know if I've ever counted how many I've done in a day.
No.
But like if you said 5 a day, you're forcing it, or 4 a day, you're like kind of pushing, maybe you're pushing it. I don't know.
No, I feel like I'd
fart. You could probably do it. Yeah, I guess I could probably do it. Yeah.
It's a good thing about working in a machine shop.
I guess no one can hear you do it. It depends on the day and what you ate, etc.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Working in a machine shop, you're like, oh, I got to fart. You hit the lathe, like, you're like, oh, I'm going to rip one. And then the lathe turns off and you're still going through it.
Yeah.
Like, whoops.
Or like Homer Simpson, turn up the radio when you fart.
Yeah.
And then you can still smell it. Yeah. I guess I don't work in a machine shop. I work in a mechanic shop.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Right?
For anybody who's pedantic out there and caught
you hear things. You have loud machinery that you work with. It's fine.
Felt
you can cover
wrong
your farts with it.
I just like bang stuff with a hammer.
I work in a quiet, open concept office. I can't rip toots in there. There's just no way. I've had that where you get the bubble guts and you're like, I gotta run out to the bathroom and fart.
I hate open concept. You just hear everybody's keyboard, and it's like I have misophonia where that's like sounds and ticks and people eating bugs me.
Yeah, my wife has that too. Yeah.
And I used to work in when I worked at the Calgary Sun, it was like there's like a big ring that we would sit, and I sat in the ring and people sat around it, and like people would like eat candies and just like they had those old school loud
the loud mechanical keyboards.
Oh my god, I hated it. I hated it so much. I hate loud keyboards.
Yeah,
so much.
I'm a hard typer. Like even if I have a quiet keyboard, I fucking like I have strong fingies, so I smash the keyboard. Yeah,
I tickle the keys. I'm like,
oh, I've been told I'm a loud typer. People are like, you fucking type loud. I'm like, I type fast and hard. Like it's like the same way I do the same way I do everything.
It's how we pod fast and hard.
Fast and hard. Yeah.
Fast and hard.
Say it like you mean it.
Yeah. So I guess that's do you want to get right into stuff, or do you want to?
No, man, do it up. Let's see what we don't. I don't have a good. There's not a good segue from the fart one into another.
Okay, the one I wanted to talk about the most.
Yeah. Which one?
The Elon one.
Okay, but you know what we could transition into really quickly is the
Oh yeah.
chicken nugget story.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
that's
mean,
actually like food based, so it's kind of fart related. So we can make a. I'm
and
not forcing the segue that way.
I bet if you only ate chicken nuggets, not only would you go blind, but
You
you'd
go
also fart a
blind.
lot.
Dale nailed it. Dale, you're the king of the segue.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, well done.
I say go blind because this elementary student went permanently blind after eating too many chicken nuggets. This is in Kuala Lumpur.
Malaysia.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to say I was kind of happy I messed up that girl's from Wales name because usually I just mess up ethnic names and it makes me feel like,
Well, Wales is an ethnicity.
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
a
I know what you mean.
white person's name I
yeah,
messed
it's
up.
like messing up a French person's name. It's the same
Yeah,
thing, right? Because it's like it's a sovereign culture. That's all.
yeah. Oh, that reminds me because
Is
we
it because
actually
they're
did a
is
guest.
it because they're white?
Yeah. We
'Cause
did a
Welsh
guest on
people
a
are
different
white.
podcast. That's why we've been gone for 3 weeks
Yeah.
because last week we went on Outrage Overload. I don't know when he's planning to upload it because he records them or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what reminded me was because Jeff said screwing up French names, and the guy screwed up Jeff's name.
The
And
guy
it's
screwed up both
French.
my first name and my last name. Yeah, it was
Screwed up
awesome.
Jeff?
He said Joffrey first, and I was like,
Oh,
well,
that's
I guess that's cool
hilarious.
if you're from the 1800s.
Can I
But
call you Joffrey?
you may, yes, absolutely. You can call me whatever you want.
Joffrey.
Joffrey.
The
Joffrey.
boy King
Do you remember there
Joffrey.
was a hockey player with my first name that went by Joffrey? Oh no, he actually it was spelled Joffrey Loophole. He played for the Anaheim Ducks, but it was actually spelled Joffrey.
Oh, yeah, he also played for Toronto, didn't he?
Maybe I think so.
And then
Yeah,
he got like
it sounds right.
there's something about the way the guy got rid of his contract and it was a loophole. And then my brother was like, he calls them his loopholes. And I was like, I was so disappointed. I was so happy
Yeah,
for him for that
yeah,
giant pun. I was so sad in myself that I just missed it.
yeah. You missed your window of opportunity. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Back to
chicken
nuggies.
nuggets kid in Malaysia,
Chicken
Kuala
nuggies.
Lumpur.
Yeah. A child went permanently blind due to an unhealthy diet. So an 8-year-old Malaysian boy went blind due to poor diet since he was an infant. The child was said to have had a diet consisting of only chicken nuggets,
Yeah, sausages.
and cookies.
Yeah, which is
That's
like
it.
I know dudes that eat like that. That's like their
No, you
entire
don't.
diet, and they can fully see.
Nobody eats just that.
Yeah, they occasionally break down and have a salad at some point.
Yeah. So the reason this guy went blind
Yeah,
was because of
nutrition probably.
distinct vitamin A deficiency
There we go.
is what it was. It was like he was probably going to get like scurvy and all this other stuff, but I never even knew vitamin A deficiency was a thing because I've never seen like vitamin A like
Like as
tablets or anything.
yeah, like advertised as a supplement.
Yeah, because you only
Yeah,
see like vitamin C, vitamin D, and all
all the
that other
vitamin
stuff.
Bs. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but vitamin A, and it's like, oh, here I'll tell you a
It's
list
in
of what they're
everything.
in.
Vitamin A's in everything usually, except for I guess chicken nuggets, sausages, and cookies.
Yeah, here's what they're in: green vegetables,
Yeah.
leafy greens and broccoli, orange and yellow vegetables, carrots, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, and squash. This is actually probably where the urban myth of carrots save your eyesight because
Oh
they have a
yeah.
lot of vitamin A in them.
Right.
Dairy products, orange and yellow fruits such as oranges, mangoes, cantaloupe, and papayas,
Oh, papaya.
liver, beef, and chicken. But I guess the chicken nuggies are too processed. They don't have
Yeah,
the
they don't have
vitamin
the
A
right.
that's in
Yeah, they don't
chicken.
have the right. All that good stuff's taken out of them.
Certain types of fish, such as salmon, eggs, cereals, rice, potatoes, wheat, soybeans, fortified with vitamin A. So yeah, it's in basically everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the only thing, like, I can't believe this kid would never eat like beef or liver or dairy products.
Yeah.
Maybe in Malaysia is different, but like
Like
kids go
the
nuts for cheese.
I think that's like the hardest thing that I like. The hardest part of that story to understand is that the kid was what 6 or 7 or something,
8.
and 8, right? And only ate 3 items. So I both had a child who was a relatively picky eater, and my brother
Mhm.
was a relatively picky eater growing up. But like he would
Mhm.
occasionally chuck a salad in there
Yeah.
somewhere, or like an apple or something, right? But I can understand it. I'm trying to figure out the outrage part of this story. I guess it's like, I think it's probably the sentence in there that says, where it talks about the mom's like, some says that it's hard for her to cook food properly for people. There's a line in the story. There's
Oh,
a line in the article. I'm trying to like, so I'm trying to figure out like who's mad about this kid going blind. Like, where did this story come from? It's this
oh,
side,
it
this
was
line here.
just in dumb news.
Okay, as a mother,
I'm
we
mad. It's
here
outrageous.
here's the quote. As a mother, we can't always cook because we are busy. Pity for the parents of this student. It is not easy for them to accept. So that was what the doctor said about
What?
the mother, right?
No. You know what I'm guessing?
What?
Some form of autism or
Oh yeah,
like a
or
mental
sensory
impairment.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah,
Where
absolutely. I
like
could see that.
she would like that's the only excuse for this if she like tried to give him other food
Right,
and then
and he
he
just
just like
wouldn't
wouldn't
do it.
eat it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
totally.
sausages and chicken McNuggets, like those are pretty flavorful for an infant. Cookies I
Yeah,
get because they're sweet and delicious, but
yeah,
like
totally.
you can't get like I guess she wouldn't have known. She probably was also like it's like you don't think about it because we have access to the internet and we're like we've been like bombarded with like dietary stuff and like
Oh
when you
yeah,
see a
since
commercial
forever.
on TV it's like source of 12 essential nutrients and it's like it's just something that's embedded in the zeitgeist for us here in North
Yeah,
America. So I
yeah,
think maybe
absolutely.
in Malaysia they don't have that sort of thing. So she didn't understand like what vitamins were or that food had stuff in it that made you healthy.
That's true. I guess I never thought of it that way specifically. Yeah, you're right. Like as a parent and you're busy and your kid's eating something, you're like, oh, thank God they're eating something
Oh yeah.
sometimes, right? You know, like that's a big deal, right? Like, oh,
Mhm.
they ate food. Because even now, like my 15-year-old kid doesn't eat food sometimes. He's like, I'm hungry. I'm like,
Oh yeah. Oh
you
man,
gotta eat food, you're gonna die.
we're so paranoid about like one more Andrea than me because but we're just paranoid about unhealthy food for our toddler. We're like, no, she can't have that. That has like processed stuff. But she also like if we give her wheat or too much dairy, she just gets moody.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like but it's I don't know, like yeah.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I think
But like
I love cheese, but if I eat too much cheese, I get moody.
oh
Like, I
yeah.
get moody. Like I get mostly I'm bummed up and I can't focus.
The only mood I get in from cheese is a good one.
A good one, a good one.
Hey.
Depends on the volume of cheese, I
I
guess.
get
If you
in good moody.
ah,
Yeah.
no, no.
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
We
Let's go
beat
back to
that
the
one. We
Elon
beat
thing.
that one, Dad. I feel like am I holding up my side of the energy bargain here? I feel like I'm
Oh,
not
dude.
holding. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Uh, so
Also, not all of these are from people being outraged, like you alluded
gotcha.
to, like who's outraged to this. It's also a lot of it is
It is
just
strange
shit I
news.
find funny.
Okay. So okay, since you find funny, I want to talk about this one because who hasn't this happened to? Man gets his
Oh
penis
my
stuck
god.
to an icy sidewalk during a drunken brawl. So this is in Fort McMurray, which is near and dear to our hearts here in Canada.
Yeah.
It's the place where all of our energy resources get removed from the ground and then
It's
sent
so funny
elsewhere.
because I heard this story. I
Yeah,
was like, that's ridiculous. And I heard it
yeah,
was in Fort Mac. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that tracks. Yeah, totally, that tracks. Oh my god. One man who got into a drunken fight outside a bar in Alberta, Canada, had to receive help from first responders when his penis stuck to the sidewalk. So, for those of you who don't know where Fort McMurray is, it's very northern Alberta.
Hmm.
So, like, you're getting up into like icy territory. It's basically mine sites. That's really it's resource extraction up there.
Yeah.
One unlucky got into a drunken brawl outside. They didn't finish the story very well. One unlucky man, I want to say.
Oh, dude, do you find like side note
Yeah,
news stories
they're
online? They have
fucking bad. There's
so
so many
much
spelling errors.
grammatical errors, and it's
Absolutely.
like I see it all the time where they just have the wrong word, so it'll pass through spell check and
Yeah,
grammar, but it'll just be like the wrong word, and you're like, what the fuck?
yeah.
People don't even read these articles anymore
They don't. They
before
just
they put them out.
they crank them out as quickly as possible. You got to be first. If you ain't first, you're last. It's Ricky Bobby journalism. One one unlucky person got into a drunken brawl outside a bar in Alberta, Canada, that ended with first responders surrounding him while his pants were down. Per TMZ, Photos taken by a fellow patron of the bar showed a man who appeared to have gotten his penis stuck to the icy sidewalk following an inebriated fight. It's unclear how the fight reached the point that his privates became public, but it was bad enough that he required
that's a
help from
good
first
word. Privates
responders.
became public.
That was a good one. That was well
Nice.
done. His genitals were stuck to the ice as multiple people, including security at the bar, attempted to pull him off.
It's so funny because it's like they try to pull him up and they just
They just can't get him off the
back
ground
down
because
like
his
a
dick
cartoon.
is stuck. Yeah.
Like in Dumb and Dumber when he's like pulling his head back and
Yeah.
his tongue's like this
Tongue's
long,
like stuck to it.
except it's his dick.
The photos published by TMZ have been censored, but as they put it, his gentleman's privates are clearly stretched before snapping right back to the ice. Authorities confirmed that the incident occurred outside the East Village pub and eatery in Fort McMurray on Sunday, January 12th. The fight started in the venue and was later taken outside, during which the unfortunate man's pants fell down. So to that, I want to say,
Pants off.
I always wear a belt.
Yeah. If you're gonna get in a drunk fight,
yeah.
If you're gonna get in a drunk fight, make sure your pants are secured.
So I can tell you, like the youth of today, the people who are like not from our generation, they're back to baggy pants. They're back to baggy pants again. I know you love it. I know you love it. But what do baggy pants do, Dale? They fall down, and then your wiener comes tumbling out, and it sticks to the ice.
That whole trend of pants that were too short made me almost as mad as skinny jeans did. It was just
really
so
like
cropped,
to like cropped pants, like almost like lower than capris, but higher than
like
the ankle.
Like they made it. It was like on purpose. You look like a teenager who just hit a growth spurt and was growing out of his pants. Like it was the worst look.
That's every corporate dude downtown in Vancouver. They all still have those. All their suits are like you see their ankles and their socks, and most of them aren't even wearing socks.
Yeah, they're wearing
still doing
no-shows.
No, there's not even no-shows. They don't wear socks. They're just barefooting it in loafers, man.
No, Jeff, don't tell me that.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross.
Dude, do you know how slimy those things would be? Oh, and the other, it's funny too, because it's like,
I do know
how
I played hockey with dudes that didn't wear socks in their skates.
No,
they barefooted it in their skates.
No, those
apparently
skates must have been disgusting.
Dude. I've played with guys that wear dress socks in their skates. I've played with guys that wear like cut-proof socks. I've played with guys that wear wool socks, that wear a pair of regular socks plus wool socks. I've played with guys that wear no socks. I've played with guys that wear half socks. I've played with guys that wear socks that go up to above their knees, like soccer socks. Dude, every conceivable footwear trend imaginable, I've seen it in a pair of hockey skates.
No socks? I can't understand.
Dude, no socks. And like several dudes that I've played with over the years have worn no socks, like straight up barefoot into skates.
Maybe it's so you can have like sharp, like tighter skates so they don't move at all.
That's I think generally that's the idea behind that, because like most of the guys I played with and the people that we did, everybody had their skates baked to their feet. Like you go to the shop and they put them in an oven, and then you bake your skates to your feet so they fit perfectly. Like they mold right to your feet.
I didn't know you could do that. That's amazing.
Dude, that's how they made. Like they're made like for your feet specifically, right? So when you get custom skates done, that's how they do it. So they bake. I don't know if they still do it that way, but that's how they did it. Like I had graphs, and like I had my graphs ordered, and I go to the sports store, and they have an oven there, and they stick them in this oven and they heat up. It's at like 350, and then you put your feet in hot skates.
Does it burn?
Yeah, it doesn't burn, but it's warm. It's like really warm. And then you sit there and you wait for like 10 minutes with your feet in the skates as it molds around your feet.
That is so wild. I didn't know that, because like every time I try to skate, because I have wide feet, it just pinches the F out of my feet and it hurts, and I can only last like 10 minutes.
Dude, that's why I was wearing graphs, because Graph specifically makes a skate called a 709, and it's like for voluminously wide feet. Voluminous feet. It's the only skate that I could wear like comfortably. So I still have them downstairs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How much were they?
Oh, I don't know how to pay for them. They're expensive. They're like, I think they're probably, I don't know, most skates are super expensive now anyway. I think when I got them, they're probably like around $1,000 or $1,200 or something,
and that was like 20 years ago.
I'm still rocking the same skates I've had forever.
Holy
dude,
those are probably like $2,000 now. Okay, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, totally.
I'll just rent skates, cry for 10 minutes, and then quit skating
Yeah,
if I ever
totally.
do it.
Yeah. so
Mhm.
so yeah, I understand that for sure. Anyway, I played hockey for most of my life and my
Mhm.
dick never got stuck to the ice. Just for the record.
As
Yeah.
much as I tried, because you had a belt on your hockey
I did.
pants.
I did have a belt on my hockey pants. I absolutely did. Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about socks, and I
Yeah.
was just wanted to talk on one thing that I'm outraged about is fucking Gen Z and Gen
Oh,
Alpha
not
are
this.
bringing back crew socks.
I don't even want to talk about this. I had this whole conversation with my
I
tattoo artist about this.
hate this so much. They
Dude,
don't know.
they don't know. They don't know.
Ankle socks never used to exist for dudes.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like 10 years ago,
2003. Like
10, 15 years ago
yeah.
that I got like ankle socks and it was amazing. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about like your like calf hair getting pinched. And I wear crew socks at work because I have to wear steel toe boots
Yeah.
and I fudging hate them. And then like Gen Z is like, oh, I can't believe you're so out of style. You're wearing ankle socks. It's just
Yeah,
like,
man.
I will die for my ankle socks. I will
Yeah.
never wear crew socks if I don't have to.
I was at the gym the other day and
Mhm.
I work out, ladies. And
Nice.
I was at the gym and I was like the only person in there with shorty socks on with my gym gear.
Oh my
'Cause
God. And
I'm never gonna wear crew socks. I'm just not
no,
gonna
me
do it. It's
neither.
not happening ever. I
And the
have a
worst part
drawer.
is, it's like you see these guys, like, because I haven't been to the gym in like a year, but when I used to go, you'd see them, and it's like, they put a lot of thought into their style, but it just looks terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just what's popular, and it just looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. It's a pair of essential shorts that are too short for them. And then they so we grew up in the era where shorts were like to the knee. That's where it was,
Yeah,
like to the knee,
because
right?
there's my shorts still go. I remember
Yeah.
the
So
first time I in my adult life I went above the knee, and I
yeah,
was like, I feel naked.
I still have like I still so this is the first year that this has happened to me this last summer that went by.
Yeah.
It was the first year I felt weird about having my shorts that were longer than everyone else's. Like I was out walking and I'm like, I'm not in style anymore. And I noticed it. Like I actually looked around. I'm like, I'm the only dude in like above just above the knee shorts.
Yeah, and
I
that's
have ugly
recent.
tattoos on my
That's like
thighs, so I can't. I gotta wear like long shorts.
that's within 5 years that we went above the knee,
Yeah.
like
So
short, like
like we had the long shorts and the short socks. So all they've done is
mm.
they've slid those two pieces up a little bit. So now they have short shorts and higher socks.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of leg showing. It's just on a different location on the leg.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I do you find like the style of the young men these days? It's very plain looking, like everything's very plain.
Oh yeah,
It's like
like
a
earth tones and like
yeah, it's very like early or late 90s,
yeah, and there's like they're
but
not wearing like graphic tees and
no
stuff like
graphic
we
tees.
used
Yeah,
to.
graphic tees are out. So like that was the thing. I was wearing like
I still
longer
wear graphic
shorts.
tees.
I had one on earlier. I had like a graphic tee and long shorts, and I'm like, I'm not cool anymore because my
Yeah.
son walks around, and he looks at me, he's like, "You're fucking embarrassing." I'm like,
Oh my
I know,
God.
I'm embarrassing. I know.
But it's like they dress like they're in grade 6.
Mhm.
That's what it is.
They look
That's
like little kids. Yeah,
because
they look like little kids that are
they don't
men.
have like what they would think is cool.
Yeah,
They don't have like comfortable things. So it's like when as soon as you can pick what you wear, you either go for what you think is cool
yeah.
or what's comfortable. And now they're just like, I don't know, it's like maybe they got like
They've all got a mustache and a
internationally
mullet.
branded or something,
Yeah,
like too many influencers from around the world who don't wear brands because then you like
yeah. You get
dinged or
dinged for
whatever.
that, or they demonetize your channel because you're wearing a brand that's not sponsored by you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah. That it outrages me too. But you
makes
know
me
what?
feel so old too,
Style
complaining about
is
how the kids dress.
style is all. You know, people give me shit that I do my excuse me, my buttons up on my shirt all the way to the top. I've been doing this since I was 15 because I'm basically a cholo. So it's not it. But no, I've always buttoned my shirts up. It's a motorcycle thing. It's so bugs don't fly down your shirt. And I
Oh,
just like I feel like I have a weird scrawny neck.
I
And
could never do it. It would just like bug me.
yeah, no, I do it all the time. And like when I have a shirt on, I'm always pulling up the neck thing. Like I like to have my neck covered.
Because
The
you're a
annoying because I'm a
Poindexter.
Poindexter. I'm a huge
Yeah,
nerd. I'm a big nerdicles.
yeah.
So yeah, I've always done this, and like
You just like you
it
saw
bothers
Steve
people.
Urkel and you're like,
I
I
saw
want to
Steve.
emulate
Did
his
I do
style.
that? Yeah, totally. I know suspenders for this guy, but yeah, a belt for sure so my penis doesn't stick to the ice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Got to save your penis from the ice.
Yes.
Okay, that was 35 minutes of not talking about Trump and politics.
We did it. Wow, I'm proud of us because like
Let's
the
go.
Trump is bumming me out. Are we going there? We're going to Trump. What's the
We're
first
not going
Trump
to Trump.
story?
We're going to Elon and the
Okay, we'll
Nazi
go to
salute.
Elon.
Because
It's definitely are we being clear
let
about this?
Let me give you my
definitely a Nazi salute that he did.
It is 1000% a Nazi salute.
Thank you.
Not only because of what he did, but and people are like, oh, he did it twice. No, what he did was he Nazi saluted the crowd, and then he turned around and he Nazi saluted backwards, which is what they used to do at the
the swastika flag.
Because there'd be a giant swastika flag. Yeah. So they like I almost pantomimed it. So they would Nazi salute the crowd, and then they would turn around and they would Nazi salute the giant swastika. But I don't think Elon's a Nazi. Okay. I 100% think this was just a troll job, because Elon is basically a human troll. Like, if you follow him on Twitter,
he's a parody of himself now.
He's like hilarious a lot of the times. Sometimes he goes too far. Like, this is akin to when those boys were stuck in the cave, and then he called the guy who wanted to rescue them a pedo because like he wanted to build like some special submarines thingy jigger. And then what happened was some like divers went down there and like drugged the kids, and then they were half passed out and dragged them out or whatever, and then he called them a pedo or whatever. So this is that tacky. And the reason, I don't know how to say this, but it makes me hate the left, because remember when Trump had that big rally at Madison Square Gardens?
Yeah, I think so.
Before the election, and everybody's like, it's a Nazi convention. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it isn't. And this annoys me for the left, because for the last year, they've been crying from the rooftops about how Trump's Hitler, Trump's a Nazi. And it's like, you have to save stuff like that for someone who's actually bad, because you get to the point where you've said it so much, it loses its meaning. And then Elon just does it to mock you.
I don't know, dude. Everything that he is doing, that Trump is doing, is straight out of the Nazi playbook.
No.
Straight out of the Nazi playbook.
No, it's not.
Yes, everything is. Even the whole plane crash thing. What did he do with the plane crash?
I don't know.
He blamed it on diversity hires. He blamed it on the queers, and he blamed it on the.
He didn't blame it on the queers. He blamed it on
poor
people who were hired not by merit, but like DEI.
So what is he doing then? No, but what is he doing then? What's he doing?
He's trying to get.
That's precisely Dale. That's precisely what Hitler did. That's precisely what Hitler did.
We're not fucking talking about this, Jeff.
It's not
Hitler-like. He's just trying to blame shift.
He literally is doing exactly what Hitler did.
No, he's not blaming the queers. He's blaming people who get hired by because they have quotas to meet.
You hear what you're saying though?
Yeah. DEI is bullshit. You can't hire pilots and stuff because there's quotas. You have to hire the best pilots. And DEI.
It's not about pilots. It was about air traffic controllers, and the accident was caused by a miscommunication of air traffic controllers.
Okay.
Trump literally stopped the bureaucracy about the airline pilots.
Oh my God. He didn't stop the bureaucracy of the airline pilots. He stopped all funding because he had to track down because Biden left this big shit show.
But then he blamed it on
because Biden
on diversity
shit show. Yeah, he said that, but Trump's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
and that's not Hitler stuff. You can't just
bring absolutely up Hitler stuff.
Okay,
this is one example. Thing. It's one example.
This is another thing too.
Yeah,
it's like I was saying. Like you call these guys Hitler and Nazi shit too much, so that when they actually do stuff, you can't escalate it because you've already called this guy Hitler for a year. You've already said as soon as he gets elected, democracy's gone and all this stuff. But now it's I'm not trying to defend Trump. My whole point is Joe Biden, his presidency was such a fucking disaster that it gave us Trump again. Trump was gone. Trump was golfing at Mar-a-Lago, and Joe Biden and those fucking DNC, they went after him so hard because they just wanted to make it so he could never run again. So they gave him 34 felony charges for trying to pay off one girl. And it's I've talked about this before, but it's so annoying because it's it was basically one check and he had 34 like
Yeah, the charges were
notes.
built on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
on
his
the different.
notes in his like fucking
Yeah,
checkbook, and like somebody wrote down a note on a ledger or something. So every time it appeared, he got charged. It's like you can't do stuff like that. And then the guy wins, and you're like, well, like, shouldn't we have started a war if he's Hitler? Like, it's just, I don't think he's Hitler.
yeah,
And
but
like the
nobody,
DEI
nobody,
thing,
nobody started a war yet, right? It's
yeah,
still
but
early stage Hitler
well,
stuff.
the main reason nobody started a war because half the people who are calling him Hitler didn't actually believe that. They were just saying that because that's what their corporate sponsors wanted. Then as soon as Trump gets elected, the corporate sponsors just start backing Trump. Like OpenAI, you got the Sam Altman guy. He's fucking gave like so much money to Kamala
Yeah,
Harris's campaign. Then as soon as Trump wins, he's like, "Oh, I'm a Trump guy now. Look at
yeah.
me." And they just switch sides. And then it's like, so it just devaluates all this like yeah, there are certain things hit like Trump's doing, but those are all just conservative bullshit things. Like he's still a conservative, and you expect him to like cut
I
social
don't
funding and all this stuff.
I don't expect him to. Yeah, I expect him to do that kind of stuff for two reasons. One, he's
Mhm.
conservative, and two, this is what he was going to do. He's said all along exactly what he was going to do.
Yeah, but like the whole DEI, it's hard because there is like I gotta explain this, otherwise I just
Yeah,
sound like a right wing guy. So like the whole DEI thing, it's like Black Lives Matter. Like there's the Black Lives Matter movement, and then there's like the corporation foundation side, where it's like DEI. Of course, you want diversity. You want people to get jobs. You want like representation for people who like maybe couldn't get that job, and then you want people to see them in that job and be like, "Oh, I can do that, so I will strive for that." So you want that, but the whole problem is in like 2002 or 2005, there was like the UN started this thing called ESG, where they're like, we want to start investing in companies, but we don't want it to be based on their pure like financial capital and how strong they are. So they came up with ESG, which stands for
yeah,
environmental, social, and
yeah.
governance. And it's a way to rate corporations on these three things. But the problem is that it just basically turned into a way to game the system. And so like it started out with the best intentions because
As
yeah,
all things do. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, if a company's good environmentally, like that's why we have all this
yeah.
carbon
There
footprint bullshit.
before this, it was corporate social responsibility. CSR was the big
Yeah.
metric for businesses to on how to gauge like who to
Mhm.
invest in and who's at the top of the investment games.
And then so what happened was, so like for the E part, the environmental, you could just like buy carbon credits
Yeah,
or
carbon
whatever it
and
is.
offset. Yeah,
But what happened was people would go and they would like buy credits from like companies
yeah. It was all horseshit. It's just a
in
big
like third
scam.
world countries where they're like, we'll plant these trees for you, and
Yeah,
then they never did. So these corporations just got like a higher grading without doing anything for the
yeah,
environment. And then DEI was it diversity, equity, and inclusion. That part fell under the social part. So it would
yeah.
be like all these
And
companies would hire DEI
wasn't it governance
officers.
that it fell under because it's
No, governance is the
governance
how
is
the
how a
leaders
company
at the
is
top.
run. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's how the yeah how the company's run. It's
so
not the leaders at
social
the top.
like was like the people
Yeah,
there or
it's
whatever.
part of it.
So the DEI, so you'd have like diversity, equity, and inclusion officers who basically were there to just crunch the numbers enough so that they could raise their S rating on this scale.
Right.
So you ended up having all this bureaucracy and this kind of just like push, like, because corporations, they just want to get more money from hedge funds.
Yeah,
So it would basically be like just pushing money around in your company for no reason. And then it had all this bad stuff, and then like it's hard to like go into it without like doing enough research to find explicit examples of why DEI is bad, but it basically turned into a way to game the system so that corporations, just like the environmental thing, where they're buying trees in
yeah,
third world countries, they were just like hiring an officer, like a DEI officer, and then like hiring people who weren't the best at their jobs, but just because they would make their DEI rating higher, they
right.
would get hired. And those were like equity hires or whatever, or DEI hires, like you call it that. Like Kamala Harris is a perfect example because like people started calling her like a DEI hire, and everybody got mad. But before Biden picked her, he said, I'm going to have a black woman as my running mate.
Right. And it didn't matter who it was.
And
It
yeah,
just
it
ended
didn't
up
matter who
being
it was
her.
as long as
Yeah.
she was a woman and black. And
Yeah.
then he picked Kamala Harris because she was the first one to drop out. She didn't like, because in the 2000 in the 2020 run, she was actually in the primaries to run for president, but she did so bad she didn't even make like the first election. Like she never even appeared on a ballot.
Right.
Because what happened was Tulsi Gabbard debated her and like pointed out all the bad shit she did. And so, okay, this is the perfect example. So Kamala Harris gets it on DI hire for Democrats, but she was like what Tulsi Gabbard pointed out was that in California, because she was, I can't remember what she was. She was the governor general, the prosecutor general, or whatever.
Attorney general.
Yeah. So she in California, she was like the person in charge of the cops, and the federal court told her to release some prisoners from prison because their time was up. And she was like, no, we can't release these guys because we need them to fight the fires. Because in California,
Yeah,
they supplement
prisoners fight the fires.
Yeah, they supplement their firefighters by getting prisoners to do it. And then it's like every day that a prisoner fights a fire, they get 2 days knocked off their sentence and they get like $5 a day payment. So she insisted on people staying in jail longer than they were supposed to be, just so that they would have labor to fight the fires.
Yeah.
And so
they depend on that labor to fight the fires.
And it's like, because it's like you hear someone like Trump say, oh, DEI hire, you're like, he doesn't always talk about, he just hates like he's just racist and doesn't want people to have like equity and all this stuff. But it's just like, it's like one of those things where it's like a slippery slope. And a lot of people hate when you say slippery slope because they're like, not everything goes downhill all the time. But it's like, you kind of see how you go step by step. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know specifically what happened with this like plane crash thing, because on this podcast, I don't like to like look into stuff like this where it's like an actual tragedy, because there's nothing funny about it.
There's nothing funny about it, for sure.
And it's almost impossible for me to not make jokes about stuff.
Yeah.
So I usually tend to not
try to
bring
stick
it
to
up.
the other things like the
farting into a phone.
Like farting into a phone, which is by all accounts, and everyone can agree on this, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that is very funny.
Like, there's no divisive line of people like not finding farting into a phone funny.
And one of the problems with Trump, it's like so what I heard on some podcast was saying this, that like Biden, well, not Biden, because Biden wasn't fucking running the presidency for like a year or two. It was whoever was in charge was doing stuff. Apparently they had just
standing up,
tried to like push all this money out the way they could, the dumbest things. And one of the examples that's been fact checked and proven wrong, but they said it was like condoms for Gaza. And apparently he, just to get money out of the door so Trump wouldn't have it, he spent $50 million on giving condoms to Gaza, which has been fact checked. So it's probably wrong. But it's like, on one hand, you hear this and you're Donald Trump and you're like, fuck, I gotta, because like one of the main things was like Trump totally screwed up because he did it too hastily. Like he froze all federal funding so that they could figure out like where all the fucking money was going, because there's just like all this money that's gone
flying out the window.
So but unfortunately what happened was, because he had said, he was like, just stop all the funding one night, and then the next day he's like, wait, don't stop like social, like I can't remember what they're called in the States, but like social security checks.
Oh yeah
and like
the food stamps program,
like the social support,
the social support piece.
The social support money. It has like a different name in the States. I can't remember what it's called. But he didn't want that to stop, but he said the next day, don't stop that. But since he had said stop everything the day before, and everything's automated on computers, and they just basically hit stop, then they had to go back in and they like
reboot the system.
Basically it's like on autopilot so hard that you can't just stop parts that you want. It just it's like
all or nothing.
Exactly. It's like a train. You can't just stop one car. It all has to stop. So like, I'm not defending Trump, like, but he has done some good things. Like, I didn't want to go through the 35 things or whatever, but
the executive orders or whatever, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I don't know. And the other reason I hate the left is because it's like I always feel like I'm defending Trump because everybody's like, because he like I didn't want the DNC to win. Like I
Yeah,
didn't care if it was Kamala or Joe Biden or whoever. It's just the DNC is so corrupt. EI, and then they just push all this money into it and it like doesn't build roads.
yeah,
And but then you have Trump who like so for California, one of his emergency, it wasn't executive order, I don't think, but what he did was he diverted some of the water to go down into California. And this is like that whole smelt, like they were sending water into the ocean so that the like streams and rivers would be good enough so that salmon could like spawn and go back up and everything. So smelt's baby fish
yeah.
on this, or wait, no, smelt is like a specific form, right?
I,
It's like a
I,
specific type.
I, I think so.
I
It's
was thinking it's baby
because
fish, but
fry is a baby
yeah,
fish.
that's what I was thinking of. So, anyways, like, so he diverted
Oh,
all this
smelt's
water
just a
to
kind of fish.
California, which is just gonna fuck the fish population later. But it's like you gotta weigh. It's like, do we want to just let California just get run out of water and like screw the fish, or do we want to keep the fish? I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, because I mean, no matter what, it's destroying an ecosystem, like
yeah,
either
because
now or later,
yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
it's
Like,
one or the other.
yeah, it's like you want these fish to be there so that we can eat them or whatever, but you also don't want 10,000 homes to burn down.
Right.
And it sucks because it's like, I hate the left because it's like every time Trump would say something smart, you're like, oh, that's kind of smart. But everybody's like, oh, he's so bad. And you're like, well, yeah, but it's like with people like Trump who just, they love praise and attention so much that it's like a toddler. It's like
Yeah.
if you see
The
your
more they,
toddler doing something you like, you'd be like, hey, good
good
job. I
job.
like when you
Yeah.
do that. And then they're like, oh, praise feels good inside my body. I'm going to
I'm
do
gonna do
more
that
things they
again.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's like, and it's like if you just call Trump Hitler and them all the time, it's like if you give like your toddler nothing but bad reinforcement or like negative
Yeah.
reinforcement, eventually like you have those troubled kids who are like over disciplined as a child. And then as a teenager, they're like, well, I get nothing but shit anyways. So I might as well just be bad because
Yeah.
that's the only time I get attention from my parental units. So because like if like a kid who's over disciplined, if they do good, then their parents say nothing because they're like, well, he
Yeah.
did good. He's
He did
obviously
great.
doing
He's
all
a
right.
great
Yeah.
kid. Yeah.
So then that kid's like, well, I got nothing from this.
Yeah.
And bad attention is better than no attention. So it's like, I guess it's basically like you have to teach your politicians like they're 12-year olds.
You have to train your politicians
Yeah.
like children.
They're
Yeah.
full of hormones and you have to balance out if you give them the carrot or the stick.
Yeah. There you go. I think you found the solution. We have to baby our politicians.
Yeah.
They
Treat
have to
Trump
go to
like
like
he's a toddler.
school. Yeah, totally.
And I'm sorry I got heated there.
That's all right.
It's
That's
just the thing is with me, the problem is it's like we were talking about, like there's always something bad to bring up about Trump and him
yeah.
saying that this accident was the problem of DEI was totally the wrong thing to say and totally stupid because the problem was that um when Biden handed things over, there were like 1,000. Just saw some tweets, so I don't know how. I haven't like
Yeah. But you haven't fact checked
yeah,
this
that's why
particular.
I didn't want to bring it up because I haven't like
Yeah, you haven't done the
done my own
research on it.
research.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was like someone had said that when Biden left, he left like 1,000 air traffic controllers short. Like there's this like labor shortage just across the
Yeah,
board
across the
since
board.
COVID.
Yeah.
Like whatever happened, like I don't know. Wouldn't that be crazy? Okay, here's a quick conspiracy theory. Sorry to get
All right.
this.
Throw it in the mix. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like,
Hit
remember
me.
how bad they said COVID was?
Yeah.
And how they said it was going to be terrible and that's why we locked down and we were all scared. And then they're like, okay, essential people go to work or whatever. And then they're like, nobody wants to work anymore. There's this huge labor shortage. What if
Yeah.
just way more people died than they said? And that's why there's like no
Oh,
labor shortage.
uh maybe.
Yeah. Like
I don't
it'd
know.
be.
I think about like how many people I see downtown on a regular basis. And
Mhm.
there's still a lot of people, but I kind of I get what you're saying. Yeah, like if the numbers were like understated
Yeah.
to a much larger degree.
Well,
I
because
don't
it's like,
there were
eh,
already we were already facing a problem where like in that regard, just to dispel that a little bit, if you
well,
look at
I'm not saying I
no,
believe
no,
that.
but
I'm
if you,
just
I know,
saying
I'm just saying, yeah,
it's a crazy thought
you're
experiment.
putting in you're proposing a theory, But
Yeah.
you have to remember that like most of the population right now is boomers and people aren't having kids anymore. Like I have more friends that don't have kids than I have friends that have kids.
That's true.
Right? Like I have a lot more adult friends who do not have children who've actively chosen not to have kids.
But that's
That
going to be like
there's
worse down the road. I'm talking about like how pretty much every industry right now is short of
oh yeah, no, because there's
workers.
not Dale, our generation, like us, or
Yeah.
us Gen Xers, there aren't as many of us.
Oh, that's
There
true.
weren't as many of us of this age. There
Yeah.
are more boomers,
Hmm.
less of us, and even less the was it the next one, Gen Z,
Millennials,
millennials. There's
then Gen
fewer,
Z, then Gen
there are
Alpha.
fewer millennials. There's more Gen Z, and now there's more alphas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a huge gap if you look at the actual like population numbers.
Oh, I
So
haven't. No.
boomers is huge. So we have this aging population of people
Yeah.
who are still in these jobs who are hanging the fuck onto them and not
Mhm.
letting them go. They're not letting Gen X take over. There aren't enough Gen X and there aren't enough what's the one after us?
Millennials,
Millennials to take over all the
Gen
roles.
Y, I guess.
Gen Y, sure, millennials. There aren't enough of us to take on the roles,
Hmm.
right? And so we're filling the spots with Gen Zs now, and they're not
They're
anything
terrible.
like us. Yeah, they're
They
not
have
anything like
bad
us,
work ethics.
right? So
Yeah.
it's not that nobody wants to work; it's they don't want to work like we did,
Well, that's true. Well,
right?
we basically had to because we had no
We had to. We
option.
had no choice, right?
Yeah.
We still like. I still feel this every day in my soul. We don't have a choice but to work our asses off right now.
Hmm.
Because of the world the boomers left us is fucking
Yeah,
garbage.
that's
So we have
true.
to like do this.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's funny, like
I saw
pretty
this meme
much.
the other day
Oh
that was
yeah.
like boomers had a great life when their midlife crisis was they went out and bought a expensive sports car. Like we're my midlife crisis. I never got to have it, and I don't have an expensive sports car. And
Yeah.
now a regular car is just an expensive car.
Yeah. My midlife crisis was I got a brand new Kia because I
Yeah,
rear-ended someone and rode off my dart.
exactly. Yeah, like our parents went out and bought
Yeah.
fucking Porsches and Camaros and like
Hmm.
they bought expensive cars as a midlife crisis, right?
But the crazy thing is, like our parents, like the boomers or whatever. Like I'm the last year of Gen X, so
Yeah,
I always get confused. But anyways, our parents who were the boomers, like they had way more money, but they had
yeah,
way less shit. Like when I was growing up,
yeah.
we had one TV for the first till my dad shot it when I was like 14.
Yeah,
But if we didn't, we wouldn't have got a new TV. So we had one like 19-inch TV
yeah,
that was color, and we had that till I was 14.
yeah, dude. Same with us. We had
And
the
then we
same
had a
thing.
24-inch TV until my brother gave my mom his old TV when I was 30.
Yeah, dude, we had the same jam. We had a 19-inch color TV in our living room, and
Hmm.
that was like a big deal. And there was a 10-inch black and white TV downstairs, which was the TV we had until I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
like, oh, I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, and we didn't have cable. I
yeah,
only had
yeah.
Peasant Vision.
Yeah, you had Peasant Vision. You had to like move the bunny ears, and you had like CBC and Tele 5.
Yeah. So like I'm not saying that if we didn't have shit, like if we didn't have our technology, we could have enough money to buy a house. But what I am saying was we kind of screwed like with
Yeah,
like free trade and all the stuff the boomers did where they could just get shit made cheaper.
yeah.
They didn't I don't know if they
There was
didn't
no forethought.
understand
Yeah, there was no
the
forethought. It was
forethought or they just didn't care. They
they didn't
just wanted
care.
cheaper stuff.
Yeah,
And that ended up that our wages didn't grow with
yeah.
inflation and stuff.
Well, this got sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than us yelling at each other about Trump.
Well, whatever.
I
I'm
still
over
feel
it now.
bad that I yelled.
No, don't worry about it.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
It's just
It's
yeah,
open
so
discourse, man. That's what we have to do.
yeah.
That's our job here.
So we'll just go back to that.
Oh yeah, what
No.
were you? What Trump story were you going to say?
We
I know
were
we're running low on time, but which
we
one
were
did you want
talking
to?
about like how he called that DEI, but one of the things was that Biden had left like the air traffic controllers 1,000 people short. And then when Trump paused everything to figure out where Biden blew up, or not even Biden, like um whoever was in charge when Biden was the president, they like just lost all this money and like didn't hire enough people. And then that's how we got distracted by there not being
Right.
enough
Yeah.
workers. But I do want to say one thing. I'm still happy Trump got a ceasefire in Gaza.
All right, there you
And
go.
I know, and everybody's like, well, not everybody, but people like I just want to kind of like preach about like Trump's redeem, because the whole reason when we talked about
I mean,
why I wanted Trump to win, the whole reason why I wanted was less war. And we're already there was 2 wars going on. We're down one, so we only have Ukraine left.
an argument could be made though that in a way, Gaza sort of fucking did itself in. That whole there's not much left. There wasn't much left to ceasefire.
No,
The
but
damage is already done.
Israel was still bombing the fuck out of Gaza.
Yeah,
they were still they
I know.
like,
I know.
they were still shooting rockets into refugee camps. Don't worry about that.
Remember the beginning of the show when I said I was sad coming into this show?
Yeah.
I'm like no less sad now at the end of the show. I was hoping maybe we get a laugh in, and now I'm actually just
we
sad.
did the laughs and then we got. But see, my whole like point is like, sure, there's a ceasefire. Like they're still like kind of taking shots at them and stuff in Lebanon, but they did let in 965 aid trucks instead of like the 10 a day they were doing before. So what I just wanted to say, like, you have a guy like Trump who's just like basically stubborn and ignorant and does what he wants. So the guy who like the envoy to Israel before was Blinken with Biden, and that's one of the people that they say might have been running things, but Blinken just let himself get pushed around so much. And then Trump's envoy, I think his name is what, Mitchum? I can't remember.
No idea. I should Google the first guy's name. Yeah.
Well, let me Google it quick. But so what would happen was Blinken would go and be like, I got to go meet with Netanyahu. And Netanyahu would be like, all right, just wait there and he would leave him at like the airport for 3 hours and then just fly away. And then Blinken would be
the old flyaway trick.
Ah, shucks. I guess we're not going to stop Blinken, or I guess we're not going to stop Netanyahu. Here, sorry, I'm just Trump's envoy.
I need an envoy.
Yeah. So, but Trump's envoy. So what happened? Like everybody's like, so the ceasefire that was agreed upon was around for like almost a year, and Biden had announced that they had a ceasefire and that Hamas had agreed to it and Israel agreed to it, but then Israel turns around and they're like, actually, we didn't agree to that.
Yeah.
And since Biden has no balls, he just like, oh, okay, just please don't bomb them as much as you want to. And then he just would anyway. Right. Witkoff. So then right before Trump got elected, he sends this guy Witkoff, which is like, I don't know, his like real estate magnate friend who like makes deals. They always talk about stuff like they make deals.
The appointments.
He sends this guy to him, like to Israel. And then they tell this guy, he's like, hey, Netanyahu can't meet you right now because he's doing Shabbat. And then this Bischoff guy goes, yeah, no, we know he's secular and he doesn't actually do Shabbat. So we're meeting. But it's just like they pushed back even a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Netanyahu's like, all right, we better make this deal.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like Trump on like his election circuit, he was like, if there's not a deal done by the time I get in there, there'll be hell to pay. And everybody's like, oh, he's going to give Israel so much more and they're going to bomb him so much worse. But the whole thing was Trump never said who the hell to pay for it was.
Yeah, I didn't explicitly state aside.
Yeah, so that's one good thing Trump. I only bring this up because Trump actually did a good thing and everybody said he wasn't going to do a bad thing. And all I wanted out of this presidency was less war, and I got less war. And
I do remember you stating that explicitly a couple of times, but last year, year before, I can't remember. You did. It was a long time ago when you said that that's what you wanted, like even well before the election ever happened.
Yeah, it was during the election. I think it might have been right after Kamala Harris took over or before. But my toddler's up now, so
so you guys switch rooms.
I don't know. I just wanted to clear the air because we were yelling about the helicopter crash.
Yeah, that's my fault. I guess I went there and I just like I don't want to fight about anything. I just like you're
like entitled to your feelings.
I'm sad about it, and I'm not. like sometimes it's hard for me to sit here and listen to you like be a Trump apologist. Like I'm very firmly anti-Trump, and I don't mean that like in a bad way. You're also
Mhm.
entitled to your opinion, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what makes the world work. We talked about this on the other show on Outrage Overload that we talked
Mhm.
on. Like part of the deal is you're allowed to express your own opinion, and we're
Yeah.
still going to be friends after this. We
Mhm.
always are. It's just like it's just hard for me to hear that because like people's lives are affected by decisions that are made and like things that are
Yeah.
happening, and it makes it hard for everyone.
Mhm.
He's done some good. Everyone is capable of doing good things. Everyone's capable of doing horrible things too, right?
Yeah, the
Like,
only thing that bugs me is like
and I'm not
when
apologetic. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
when people do like you said, people do good and bad things. And like I said before, when people do good things, you have to let them know they were good so that they
Yeah.
do more good.
Yeah.
So like the whole Trump derangement syndrome, that was it's kind of like waned off a bit because
Yeah.
everybody got so fed up with Biden. But it's like
I
there's
understand.
people who
Oh, sorry. Go
just
ahead.
aren't able to admit that Trump does some good stuff.
So I agree with you. I mean, I'm not like I said, everyone's capable of doing good. I
Hmm.
think the part where I disagree is that oh no, I and actually do agree with you that the left went too far, right?
Hmm.
The left went so far that it's almost doubled back on itself. And like I'm firmly I'm pro DEI. I think it's important, like you said, to have representation, to have it. I disagree with hiring unqualified people. People should be
Hmm.
qualified. They shouldn't be hired because they fit a role. They should be hired because they're specifically good at that particular job, right?
Hmm.
So those are two kind of different arguments, I guess. Um, and I just like you're right. The left can be an absolute pain in the ass, and the
Hmm.
right can be a pain in the ass. And this is the trouble with the politics and the current climate that we're sitting in, is that there are only two sides. There's
Yeah.
no room for discourse in the middle anymore. You're either fucking left or you're
Hmm.
right, and there's nowhere in between. So you actually kind of sit in between because I know you and I know that you're majoritively left. And
Hmm.
then I listen to you speak about Trump with it's you looking, and it's only because I know you, it's you like looking at the brighter side. It's you
Yeah.
looking at that good thing. I know you don't like Trump specifically, and you're like seeing the good in him, which is what
Hmm.
you see in most people, which is why I love you as part of as a
Yeah.
brother and a friend, right? Like you see the good in everyone, and you
Yeah.
do that, and so you do that with Trump, and it sometimes angers me and probably other people listening to the podcast because
Yeah.
we know who you
Yeah,
actually are,
that's true.
right? And I think that's a lot of where the negative piece comes from.
Yeah.
Does that sort of help
No, that makes
highlight it a
sense.
little
Yeah, it
bit?
makes sense.
And it's
And it
yeah,
and like one of the like I keep saying it, one of the reasons I hate the left so much is I see Trump do stuff like fixing some of the stuff they fucked up, and then I have
yeah,
to be like, Trump did a good thing.
yeah.
And it hurts me to say it because I've hated him since before the apprentice, like since the apprentice
Since
started.
your apprentice, yeah, totally.
But it's like,
Yeah,
and at the same time, it's like Trump could have just like, since Trump getting elected could have stopped World War III. And
yeah.
that's something that hurts all of our
It
feelings
does hurt all of our feelings. Yeah, it
because
absolutely
the
does.
left is supposed to be the party that stops war, and
Right.
the Republicans are supposed to be the war hungry ones that pay, that like give money to like weapons manufacturers
Right.
and just like do false flags and get us into wars. Like the Republicans were the
That's
ones
a
who
thing.
did Iraq.
It's so unclear now
Yeah.
as to like where to be.
Yeah. And it's like you said, there's two sides, but it used to be like when we were growing up, I hated the right
Yeah.
because they were the bad
They're the
guys.
bad
They
guys,
were the
right?
ones who wanted war, they wanted tax cuts, and they
And
wanted
they're
more
stifling
money.
progression, right? That the
And
big part
then
is they're stifling progression, and
yeah,
progression takes different forms.
and then the left, like somehow they're pushing like diversity and stuff, but they pushed it so hard that
Yeah.
it became restraining. And
Yeah.
then they started to
Yes.
like censor stuff, like the
Yeah.
left being the side that sent, like they were like
And it's fucked up because now
so hard. Yeah.
you don't know how to think about anything anymore, too, right? Because you're like, but I'm primarily left, but this is
Hmm.
fucking ridiculous what
Yeah.
people are doing, right?
Like we're used to like the right being pearl clutchers and being
Yeah.
like, you can't say this stuff online. And
Yeah.
then it takes a guy like Elon Musk and he buys Twitter, and then it's full of like FBI directives and all this stuff. And you're like, wait, this is supposed to be supposed to be
The
the ones who make
free
life
yeah,
better.
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it get it like Yeah, we live in a.
Mhm.
I know every generation has said this, but we live in a crazy time. Like it's hard to
Oh
fucking
yeah.
know what's real, what's fake, what's happening, and like it's the world is hard now, right?
Yeah, and
There's too
it's
much information.
yeah, it's crazy because like Trump, now that he's done, like it's almost like Trump doing all this dumb shit is kind of like leveled it out again, because we were pretty close to a poll shift
Yeah,
where the Republicans did like more left wing stuff, and then and the Democrats were more like big business and stuff. But now that Trump's like doing Trump stuff, it's like almost returning the Republicans to more normal level.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate when I like get onto something and talk about it for so long straight. I'm like, wait. And then you just end up somewhere and you're like, did that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't question
Good.
yourself. You got to go with it. You got to
Yeah.
just own it at that point, right?
Oh, and also I might be more right wing than I was growing up,
Oh yeah.
because I work with right wing people and they are fucking nuts.
It.
Like this one guy called me a communist every day because I voted for
Jesus Christ.
Trudeau.
I man, it's weird. Like the older I get, the more I understand why my parents are the way they are. It's like
Mhm.
fucking,
Oh yeah.
it's like super wild. Like the entire like since I was able to vote, since I was like 18,
Hmm.
my parents have always voted conservative.
Yeah.
Always, always, always conservative. They've
Hmm.
never voted liberal in their lives. They've never voted NDP because they lived through a period in the 80s where apparently the NDP wrecked British Columbia, but we weren't old enough to know at that time. We weren't political, but
Yeah.
because we were kids and I was playing with GI Joes and
Is
hanging
it
out,
softwood lumber stuff?
all that shit, all that
It's
stuff.
always
It's
softwood
always
lumber if you're
softwood
talking
lumber.
about
Yeah.
BC.
So like there's that whole thing where like they are like staunchly against the NDP. They will never vote liberal. They're only going to vote conservative all the time. And the older I get, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Like
Hmm.
I feel more conservative than I ever was because I want to protect my assets that I work my ass off to create for myself.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like when you're young, you want more social spending,
Yes. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then as you grow up and you understand what money works and or how money works and stuff, you're like, wait, where are we getting this money? And then you kind of like, because when you're young, you're like, you understand that you pay for stuff through taxes, but you just
Yeah.
like you don't notice because you're only making like what we were only making
Yeah.
like what
You really.
$10 an
Yeah.
hour. So you're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Exactly.
whatever. But
Yeah.
now it's like it's almost like you're more emotionally attached to what your money, like how you get your
Yeah.
money and where it goes and
Oh,
everything.
absolutely. Right. And
Yeah.
you want to like, I don't want to be destitute, right? And
Hmm.
like, and I was reading this article and I can't, oh God, it was really good. And I can't remember for the life of me who wrote it. And I got it from a Blue Sky article, but like you can be ideological when you're younger because you have energy and you have time and you don't have as many responsibilities. And the older you get,
Mm,
the less you can be ideological and the more you have to be pragmatic because your life shifts. You have children and work and bills and like real fucking world things that have to get done. When I was in university, I was fully left because all I wanted to do was change the world and make things happen.
mhm,
And then I got old and I got tired and I got responsibilities and I need fucking financial security because the world doesn't give a fuck about your ideologies,
mhm.
right? And like it's so like 18, 19, 20-year-old Jeff would hate 48-year-old Jeff. He would fucking hate him. He would fucking hate him.
That's how you know you're doing your
Right.
job.
Yeah. Like I was punk rock, fuck the world. I'm gonna like burn this
Yeah.
down. We'll rebuild the establishment in a better
Mhm,
light and make everything better for everybody else. And now I'm just like, I get home from I have work. I'm at my job for 11 hours and I'm home for 4 hours in a day. There's no time for rebellion. I'm fucking busy.
yeah,
I have to put
exactly.
my kid, I have to make sure my kid has a good life and I have to make sure that my house is paid for and I have to make sure I have food on the table. Right. Like
Yeah.
it's fucked, man. It's totally fucked. You become your parents and you're like, fuck, I became
Yeah.
my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's
I
like
gotta vote conservative now. This is bullshit.
yeah, like
I don't.
one
I'm
of the
not going to.
things was like when I was so anti-war when I was like in or in like college and stuff,
Yeah.
and I didn't believe in it. And then you just kind of like see the outside world and you pay attention to what's going on. You're like, wait, there's people who have to be stopped. And so you're like that, but it's like,
Get the youngs to do it. Them and their
yeah.
socks pulled up halfway up their shins.
And then
How
the
do you
other
fight a war in
yeah,
short shorts? Tell me that,
yeah, and then
Xander.
And it's funny because it's like the right, they always complain about welfare and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then it's like all those government contracts and stuff, which are basically taxpayer money. So it's like the weapons manufacturers are on welfare.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it like that, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it fucks
They
your
told me
brain. You
welfare
just-
was bad.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Your mind, it gets exploded. It totally does.
All right.
We got to cut this off, I guess. We read overtime, but it was a good, solid, emotional
It
roller
was.
coaster of an episode tonight.
It got heated in the middle, but we came back. We're still friends. I
Always.
still love you.
I love you too, buddy. Always.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Until next
I'm not angry
time.
anymore. I'm less sad now. Thank you for
That's good. You're less
I'm less sad. I'm less sad.
Nice.
I'm more defeated and less sad.
No, but I get what you mean. Like there's like a general morose that's just out there. And I always say it's just been since COVID, but I feel like, especially with the impending tariffs coming, like that's kind of like brought it back up.
Dude, we didn't even talk about that.
No, well, because we don't know what they're going to be yet.
We don't know what's going to happen. I guess.
So I'm like, I'm going to announce it tomorrow. It's not going to
better not be on motorcycles. I'll tell you that.
What's that?
It's going to be on motorcycles. Fuck.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to text Harley Davidson.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Until next time.
Stay angry, and thank you for joining us on Outrage Factory. We did it. Over the top.